listening. They don't want to listen to reason. They don't want to listen to a prophet and my savior. He said that you can't be a prophet in your own country. Yeah, he said that. Probably because your country is comprised of a bunch of retards. They love the TV more than they love salvation. And if they didn't have their precious PlayStation, they might have to succumb to the fact that they're more depressed than they'll ever admit to. Not afraid to say the things I feel. Not afraid to say things that lose my appeal. And that's the difference between me and your average American. I am not a proud American. Who would be a proud American? Look at what they do, look at what they do. This is it. So cool. And like I told you, I got a front row seat to the degeneracy. And not just cause I do stand-up comedy, but working at a restaurant. You see, all these terrible people flaunt their terrible habits, and there's no shame. No, there's no shame. No, there's no shame. That's the difference between me and everybody else that you see. I have so much shame. Yeah, I have so much shame. I have so much shame. I prostrate every single day. I prostrate every single day. I prostrate every single day. Every single day. Damn, that is like the 5th cop I have seen. It's ridiculous. Look, the cops did good in Nashville recently. They did real good. Can't complain too much about it. When they actually serve and they actually protect, they're awesome. But the problem is that they don't do that. Or they just serve and protect the state, or they serve and protect the media, okay? Now I wanted to talk about something. I'll try to be brief about it, you know me, but we really are going to try to be brief about this because I just don't want to talk too much about it. Because I really hate talking about the same thing that everybody else is talking about. So the devil. Let's talk about the devil, okay? The devil likes to make you forget God, okay? And it's so easy to do that in this country because of the media. So the media will get you to focus on certain aspects of a story. That's why everything's politicized the way that it is. So what recently happened with this horrible tragedy at this Christian school in Nashville involving a trance person that went crazy, imagine that, and shot a bunch of people. Now, yours truly does not have confirmation bias, okay? So as much as we want to blame their piece of shit psychiatrist for whatever god-forsaken medication this bitch was on, okay? As easy as that would be, there are plenty of people that are on psych meds that don't do that. And there are plenty of trans people that don't commit horrible acts of violence And there are plenty of people that have a firearm that don't shoot a bunch of people with it, okay? That's why all of these people are wrong. Because they want to focus on certain aspects of the situation without looking at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that this bitch didn't have God. And that's what we need to be talking about. People that believe so much in firearms also don't have God either, because they care more about guns than they do reading the Psalms, okay? Some trust in chariots, others in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God, okay? Now, if you got a family, I don't hold it against you for having a gun to protect them and all that. It's understandable, especially with as shitty as this world is getting. But the way that people fetishize gun ownership in this country is just absolutely absurd. And the way that people fetishize their stupid identity is also absolutely absurd. Whether their identity involves their politics, whether their identity involves their sexual identity, or their sexual orientation, or whatever. Gender identity, rather. Gender identity, sexual orientation, race. Race. We love to talk about race. I mentioned this recently. There are a bunch of shootings on DB Todd. They never get talked about because that's in a predominantly black area with Planned Parenthood conveniently right up the street, okay? So, I'm not trying to take away from this tragedy all because the kids are white. But I've always made the statement that these shootings happen in predominantly Democrat counties at a public school, but this shooting in particular happened at a Christian school in a red state. And I find it interesting though, like the perp, as the law and order people would call this person that everybody is deeming some kind of monster. Her psychiatrist is the monster. Okay? Now, a lot of people are on medication and they don't do anything crazy. But people that are already prone to like violent thoughts and impulsive behavior, when they get on medication, whether it's an antidepressant or some sort of amphetamine, like Ritalin, okay, they can do some crazy fucked up shit. And I was reading about all these acts of violence that have been committed that don't involve a firearm. And they're like so much worse, dude. They'll never talk about that. So, I was gonna say that, sorry, my eye is always itching. I was gonna say that, you know, this country is a nation of like completely desensitized degenerates, okay? And they're not just sexual degenerates. They're like technological degenerates, whatever you want to say. Everybody is degenerate because of the phone that they have. The fact that people just want to capitalize on something horrible, and they don't even care that like all these people died. They don't even care. Like, they want to pretend that they do, but they really fucking don't, dude. They don't. They just want to be right about some shit, and that's fucked up. I don't want to be right about this stuff. It's horrible. I knew that bitch was seeing a fucking psychiatrist. They said that she had an emotional disorder. Let me guess, it was borderline personality. They probably said it was bipolar. They said she had emotional disorder and she was under a doctor's care. What the fuck is a doctor's care? They throw pills at you and they stab you with poison. That's all they do these days. And if they actually perform some kind of miraculous surgery on you, it's gonna cost you like your entire life savings, so they might as well just kill your ass, you know? But anyway, as much as I would like to blame her psychiatrist, though, it's not her psychiatrist's fault. It's not. Why did she see the psychiatrist? Why does society trust psychiatry in the first place? Because society has completely given up on themselves. Because it's not just people that have given up on their emotional stability or their ability to solve problems on their own. Okay, a lot of these kids that I read about that, you know, stabbed their grandparents to death or beat their classmates with a baseball bat, you know, these kids were like court ordered to take medication, okay? So, I mean, yeah, it is a problem with the state, but I think that our whole society is completely brainwashed to trust these authority figures. And the reason why they trust authority figures is because they don't trust themselves. They don't trust their own instincts. They don't trust things that they see and perceive. You know, it's like the same thing that I noticed with COVID, like when COVID started, and it was like, they were just jacking up all the numbers, making it seem like all these people were dying of COVID, and it just wasn't happening. Now, I'm not saying that nobody died, and I'm not saying that there wasn't any. I mean, it's the phones. It has everything to do with the technology. This whole culture is just completely fucked. And the fact that people are so infantilized that they're only seeing like the surface, or they're only seeing like one thing that they can focus on, and they zero in on these things because then they don't have to think. And when you don't think, you can't possibly come up with a solution to the problem. So your solution naturally is just to ban whatever it is you don't like. Okay, so let's ban guns. Let's ban trans people. Let's ban school. That'd be great, but you know, they're not going to do that. I mean, I want to ban psychiatry, but you know, that's not going to happen either. But the reason why psychiatry is so popular is because of the fact that people just throw away whatever's inconvenient. I know so many people that don't want shit to do with a particular family member because that particular family member has some sort of disorder. Now, I'm somewhat of a hypocrite because, you know, my brother is a total narcissist. But I wouldn't suggest that he get on medication. I wouldn't suggest that he should be locked up and forced against his will to do stuff that's not logical, that wouldn't actually help him, okay? Because there's so many family members and significant others and friends that want their supposed loved one totally zombified. And that doesn't seem to happen, does it? So, mostly, I was going to say everybody. You could tell that I was going to mouth that. Everybody. I was about to say that, but I retracted because it's not everybody. But I would say that most people that take medications are totally zombified because of that shit. But there's that small minority that whatever they've got going on, those wheels that are spinning in their head, those really nasty grinding wheels, those axles that are just, okay? It's exacerbated with medication. And so whatever voices they're hearing, they're just going to get louder and more aggressive. And a lot of times these kids don't even remember like what they do. So they'll never talk about the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is our reliance on technology. And it's not just psychiatry either. I mean, obviously, like, you know, I bitch about the phones all the time. But yeah, if that bitch didn't have a phone, like, she probably wouldn't have, like, thought that she was a trans person and, like, all this other bullshit, you know? It's like, people don't want to talk about that because they think they can't do anything about it. You can always do something about it. You choose not to because you're a fucking pussy. Like, that's nobody's fault but your own. I mean, like, all these parents that put their kids on medication only to get bludgeoned to death with a fucking axe or some shit. It's like, I mean, that's kind of funny, isn't it? Well, I mean, it's funny because of the fact that, like, you don't want to take responsibility for anything. You don't want to, like, treat your kid in a humane way. And, you know, honestly, though, I feel bad for him because I do, like, there's a small part of me that feels bad about the whole thing because, like, they don't know any better. It's like they trust authority figures, they trust doctors, they trust teachers. You know, it's like, there's no hope for a society that doesn't understand that God is the only authority. There is no other authority but God. So this is what you get. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that people have to die. I'm sorry that people have to be severely injured, you know, whether they're physically injured or, you know, emotionally, psychologically. I mean, think about all these kids. Think about all the parents and the teachers and all that. You know, they have to go back to that school and just, like, relive that over and over again, you know? So it's like, all these people online, they're just pieces of shit. They just want to, like, bring this up. And, like, once again, back to the devil, he wins over and over and over again. It's like a fucking buffet for him, man. So anytime some tragedy happens, whenever people politicize it and vicariously play the victim through their stupid political horse shit, whether their horse shit's coming from over here, over there, up here, down there, it doesn't fucking matter. It's sorcery. It's controlling your thinking. It's controlling, like, what you're talking about. I mean, we were talking about it at work, and I was like, dude, I just feel like I'm giving in to Satan right now. Just having this conversation. Because it's bad enough that this horrible thing happened, but now everybody's talking about it, and they gotta add their fucking 2 cents. Well, let me add a quarter, bitch. Let me add a quarter. Y'all motherfuckers need to get right with God. Because none of this shit's gonna change. It's just gonna get worse and worse and worse because people do not want to address the root of the problem. And the root of the problem is a lack of God. If y'all trust technology, you do not trust God. I don't give a fuckity fuck. I'm so sick of people acting like they care about stuff. No, you don't. Hashtag, go fucking kill yourself. Like, Anyway. They won't kill themselves. They don't have self-awareness. I have to go to bed. But I just thought that I would yell for a minute and bring up yet again why the world sucks because they trust technology. Oh, but I should show y'all some of the posters that I made tonight. So one of my favorite singer-songwriters, James Murphy of LCD Sound System, he said that the best way to complain is to make things, and he couldn't be any more right. So that's what I've been doing. I used this poster in my stand-up. Did not work out at all. They were just confused, but it's fine. I really like this. Jesus is an OG. Kelsey would have gotten it. Jesus is the original gangster. He is. He was, like, flipping over the tables and telling the high priests at the time, like, you guys don't follow the scripture, like, you're selling doves in the temple, like, you're pieces of shit. I mean, I know that he didn't say that, but politically incorrect Jesus said that, but that's my the newer version of the Bible that I've come up with, okay? the comedic NIV. It's a joke. It's okay. It's a joke. Calm down. But let's see. Technology is boring. Technology is boring. So boring. You are boring. You are so boring. Everybody that stares at their phone is fucking boring. Like, I can't stress it enough. Like, I never thought that I could possibly be more bored with the society and more ready for it all to end, okay? And I know that I'm not the only one that feels this way, so you're so lucky to have me. You bore me, phony baloney. That I love it. I love it so much. I'm not really sure about the colors. Like, if I'm confused about the colors, I'll probably add something to it to make it, like, pop out a little bit more. Because, you know, I wrote this down a long time ago when I was high. But I was, like, really inspired by this idea that, like, my mistakes can be artistic. So, like, anytime that I fuck something up, and this is very, like, you know, comedian-oriented, you know, all your failures and all the painful things that have happened to you, like, you can flip that and turn it into something really, really funny and really profound and thought-provoking and entertaining, you know, and inspire a lot of people to not kill themselves. And that's so important, especially in this day and age. And so that's why I take comedy very, very seriously. But I know it seems kind of ridiculous because, like, I eat on stage and act crazy and all that, but it's like they just don't understand the art form. But yeah, I really like that message though, because yeah, everybody that has a phone is so boring. Just to let you know, if you have a phone, like, break it. Now I like this one. At first I didn't like it, but then the colors kind of grew on me. So, free Wi-Fi. Just kidding, it's crack, okay? I like that. I don't really like the F there because I feel like it's kind of confusing. But I mean, I feel like they know what I'm trying to say. But I'm probably going to add to this, but I like the colors a lot. I like the blue and the white here. Make the world a better place and get off your phone, okay? I think that this is the message right here. And this was really hard to do, by the way. It was really hard to squeeze in all these letters. I just wanted to let you know that we are very, very committed to our message. We are more committed to our message than anybody is committed to any motherfucking thing. And I will mop the floor with every last piece of shit on Twitter.